Look not upon me. The bride is still speaking. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyards have I not kept. Dear God, this is magnificent. When God's intimate love envelops you, where you are experiencing depth that you can't experience out there. When God's intimate love becomes real in your heart and your fellowship becomes abiding, that happened to me for 1 year. This happened to me for a whole year. I could not get away from the presence of God day and night. That's what birthed the ministry. Because this is the abiding. Remember I said earlier, 2 unions? One that can last for moments or hours, but one that can last permanently. The practice of God's presence. I practiced the presence of God for a whole year. I couldn't get away from it. I couldn't sleep. I would fall asleep at 2 and be up at 5 and feel as strong as though I had slept for 10 hours. Literally, I'm telling you. The presence of God was so on me that things began to happen in our home, and I'm reading it right here. Suddenly, your weakness is revealed by the sunlight inside of you, and all others see is your weakness. So they look at you and say, who you think you are? Because they can't see what's concealed. All they see is your outer being. All they see is the flesh. And they look at you and begin to urge you to focus on earthly things. You are so caught in this so-called experience of yours. Why don't you just come down to reality? My cousin walked into my bedroom, and the presence of God was so strong, he began to mock what was going on. And I stood there and smiled at him. Because I was in a place I could not get angry. Are you listening? Because when the presence of God is deep on you, there's no anger. They can curse you. They can say the nastiest things to you. And to your shock, you are loving them beyond description. Love is coming out of you, and they start to insult you because you love them. My dad did the same thing with me. I came out that entire year. I would come downstairs, the presence of God on me like a robe, and my father would actually cuss me out. And I would stand and just love him. Love him with a smile on my face that was heavenly, and he would get angry that I was smiling. The glory of God got him angrier than calmer. I was the one in heaven. He was not in heaven. Because he was in a different world. But then when he got saved, God began to change him. So now she says, this bride who is in this atmosphere of glory, she says, don't look upon me because I am black, because the sun has looked upon me. So don't criticize me for my faults and weakness. My mother's children were angry with me. This is what happened to me in my house. So they begin to urge you to focus on your outward life. This is exactly what happened with Mary and Martha in Luke 10:40. Don't you remember when Come on, look at that verse. You got to see it. You got to see it. Luke 10:40, when Jesus went to the house of Lazarus, I'll show it to you. You get so captured by the Lord, you don't want anything else. But Martha was cumbered about much serving. Came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister Mary hath left me to serve alone? Please tell her to help me. What does Jesus say to her? Next verse, please. Come on. He says, Jesus answered and said, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things. Next verse, please. But one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her. She is so captured by heaven, don't criticize her for what she's experiencing, Martha. Martha, you are in a different world, on a different planet, and now she is so taken by me, and you want to steal that away from her? It'll never happen. Because I'm looking for a people who are just like Mary. They want to sit at my feet and not go anyplace else. How many people are like Mary? You bet. But so that's what happened to me. I was so captured, they began to get angry with me. Why don't you just focus on blah, 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 blah. But I was as calm. Nothing bothered me. Why? Because I was in that realm. Oh, Lord, keep us there. But then she says this. She says, they were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards. So they begin to urge her, focus on your outward life. Focus on your vineyard. And focus on my vineyard. Vineyard means my life. Why are you so caught up in heaven? You ought to help me. That's what Martha said. Come help me in my vineyard. But the true bride says, I am so caught up in Jesus, I have no time to fix your vineyard, fix your own. And I am so caught up in Jesus that I'm not fixing my own vineyard, He'll fix it for me. Are you there? Yes. Verse 7. Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions? Now, here's the sad thing. Here's the sad thing. Even the bride eventually will be forced to leave that place of fellowship and tend to lower matters. Happened to me. That's why the bride is crying, come Lord Jesus, so I don't ever have to come down. So she says, tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest. So we know that between verse 6 and 7, she was forced out of her place of comfort, of her place of peace, of her place of fellowship. Somehow along the way, they forced her out because she had to come down to deal with lower matters. It happens to all of us. But soon, the true bride yearns to return to the place where the bridegroom is, where he's feeding his flock, that place of fellowship, that place of resting, and she cries out, oh, where are you? I want to be back where you are, because I haven't been fed by your presence. I want to be back where the flock is. I want to be back where your presence is. Tell me, she says, O thou whom my soul loves, my shepherd, my king, where are you? Where are you feeding today so I can come and join the flock? Where can I come and rest at noon? Rest at midday. Why? Because midday is where the glory shines most.